Hey boys and girls, I'm back here in my yard. This is my front yard, and my flowers are all in bloom here. It looks fantastic, and it's really inspired me for this next project, which is fairy gardens. Fairy gardens are so much fun to make. We're going to learn about what fairy gardens are and how to make them, and give you lots of inspiration for you to make your own fairy garden. Fairy gardens are taking small found objects, putting them together as if a fairy was building themselves a little home or a little place to rest, and you can have a lot of fun with that. The big things that you want to remember when you're making your fairy garden is you want it all to be in the same scale. So I like to use the Lego action figures as the size of my fairies, and then so my chairs, my houses, all of those would be something that a Lego action figure would comfortably fit in. You can do a different size scale if you want, and you can do your fairy garden outside or inside. It's really up to you on what you want to do. So I'm going to show you here in the next couple minutes what steps to take to make your fairy garden, and then show you lots of inspiration of other people who have made fairy gardens and shared those out for the world to see. All right, I hope you guys have fun this week with this project. It's just going to be full of imagination and open to interpretation.
Alright, so very simply, what is a fairy garden? It's a small space constructed by humans in which a small mythical creature might dwell. Now everything must look natural or like a fairy constructed it. The whole thing should be within the same scale, and there should be enough left to the imagination that the viewer can create a story in their mind. First, find a small, out-of-the-way space for you to construct your fairy garden. This can be in your yard, a flower pot, or even a small nook in your house. Find some small objects that can be used to construct your fairy home. You will need to use your imagination to unlock this magic. Sketch out your plan of your fairy garden space and look online. There's tons of inspiration out there. Construct your fairy garden from your found objects, and be sure to have an adult help you if needed. Here's some inspiration that I found online. Some of these will need hot glue and some do not. Here's one that was done inside. Here's a little artist stand. How could I not love that one? Love it! Here's one that's constructed without using hot glue at all. And even if you just make a little door and put that up against a tree, that can look like a fairy lives inside that tree. Alright, so what we're going to do is I'm going to make just my own little figure. So I've got some natural materials that I gathered up, and we're going to make it to Lego Guy scale. So here's his little house. So I'm going to start by creating the little door here. So we want the door to be about that tall. And that helps us know about how big we want our fairy stuff to be. Now you might need mom or dad's help, or an older sibling, to help you with some of the materials, because we're going to be using scissors, and hot glue works best. Now if you don't have any of those at home, you can find other materials that will work for you in other ways. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this milk crate, I'm going to fold it. I've washed it out really well, which is why it's open. I'm going to fold it back up, and I'm going to turn it into a little fairy house. And then I'm going to put it in my garden, and you'll get to see this at the end of the presentation here. So I'm going to go into super duper fast forward mode to show you how I do this. Alright, since you're making this at home, I'm hoping that you have a hot glue gun, because that would be what works best for putting sticks together. If not, maybe you can find a different way to put things together. I'm using my hot glue gun, and if you are too young to use a hot glue gun, see if you can get a parent or an older sibling to help use the hot glue gun. Younger children can be the ones that cut the sticks into smaller segments, and older children or parents can be the ones that then put the glue down and glue the sticks onto the milk carton if you decide to do a little milk carton house like this. But there are lots and lots of different ways that you can create a little fairy garden or a space for your fairy garden. After I show you my example, I'm going to show you my daughter's example, and she did one without using a hot glue gun at all. last part of this particular video, I'm making a little table and bench for my fairy. So it will have a house with a little picnic table area in the back. Right, and now you can see I've set up my little fairy garden here in my backyard with the little house and little picnic bench out front. It's just a lovely little decoration. Here's the little fairy garden that my daughter made. As you can see, it's just in a potted plant here, and she didn't use any glue at all. She used blue colored beads to make the river, some marbles for the riverbank, and a few little Lego figures to hang out there. Also some crystals that we just had laying around the house. So that's another way that you can make a fairy garden. All right, I hope you guys all have fun making your own fairy gardens in your house. Remember, stay safe, stay well, stay home, and make art. Bye everyone.